platform for social champions, for change makers, everyday change makers that we see around us, who have put decades of work, of their lifetime, their earnings, into making a difference, to serve others, and to make our world into a better place.
A very good morning and welcome to WishwaTalks. My name is Tarishan. Thank you all for attending today's event. For those of you who have attended a WishwaTalk before, a warm welcome back. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, here's a little bit about us. WishwaTalks is a space to expand the horizons of your mind. Every webinar, we call experts from different domains to discuss and examine opinions, perspectives, issues, and problems. Each webinar is an interactive session where we walk away with more respect for each other and a deeper understanding of the topic at hand. If you miss a session, please visit our website or YouTube channel for a full library of past WishwaTalks on interesting topics. It is with distinct honor that I introduce our esteemed keynote speaker for today's webinar, Ms.VRUSHALI Reddy from Roshni Counseling Center and Arya Janani, and she will lead us through the session in just a few moments. With a diverse background spanning from law and psychology, her journey has not been nothing short of remarkable. As a clinical psychologist and psycho-legal therapist, she brings a unique perspective to her work, having transitioned from a legal practitioner to a dedicated advocate for mental well-being. Her passion lies in resolving family and marital conflicts, with a specialization in addressing the needs of children and youth. Currently pursuing a PhD and actively engaged with Roshni Counseling Center and Arya Janani NGO. She embodies the spirit of empowerment and positive change. Let's warmly welcome Ms. VRUSHALI Reddy as she imparts her expertise and insights today. Namaskar, ma'am. Good morning.
Namaste, Trishan, for that very enlightening, good introduction that you gave to me. Thank you very much. And a special thanks to all those who are attending, the participants, and giving their time to listen to this very important topic, which is related to conscious parenting. And we can just think and see how our future will be if we are propagating, we are expanding this kind of information to all those who are now bringing up a new generation to this world. It is not, it is not, actually this is only for, this information is for, we conduct classes for workshops for pregnancy, lifestyle for women, but this knowledge is equally important to all those who are part of the society and bring change in this world and make this world a better place to live in. So shall I begin with my PPT?
Sure, ma'am.
Share my PPT.
Sure. Before we get started, I would like to inform the audience that our speaker will be taking questions from you after our main talk. So please leave your questions in the chat or use the raise hand tool and we will allow you to ask your questions in person. I request everyone to turn on your webcam during the interaction part. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Trisha. See, we all see our soul coming in the next generation. We all want that this life continues, and our aspirations we see through our children. And this is what are the factors that influence the parenting? What is all about conscious parenting? All this we are just going to know about in this presentation. We all know that parenting, children bring joy to all of us. Their smile, their bubbly nature, their acts, their activities in the home. Even the angriest person in the house cool down after seeing a child. And that is what we also see our soul coming back in our own future, how we are blessed with children. And we take it as a blessing. And this is a cultural norm where as a new married couple comes and greets and meets, the first blessing that comes from the elders is Putravati Bhava. So they say that the children are the next progeny, which continues this world to enjoy the pleasures and pains of this world and reach to some realization by experiencing and elevating our lives from one level to another level. And the moment they are in the family, it's a bundle of joy that all the parents, all those in the house will enjoy these moments. And life itself for those who are youth and just married becomes a responsible citizen once the child comes in and they are parents. And in that process, what they do is whatever they have lost, whatever they've experienced, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, and because of these things, what they have experienced, bitterness or happiness, and they feel that all these responsibilities become an objectives, then they impose values and discipline on the child. And sometimes this bundle of joy, sometimes over imposing of some values, some disciplines, turns out to be a burden. So where does the secret of parenting actually lies? That we all are supposed to know. And it is said that medical science, from the beginning of conception, from the time it started thinking about what the child is, how the child is growing in the womb, they always considered, till a few decades back, they considered that it's a mass of lump of mass which is growing in the womb, in the cellular formation from month to month, and it is nurtured by the food or the nutrition that is taken. But later they came up with the science and development that child is developing its organs, and it can hear, it can taste, it can smell. And recent past, in a few decades, 2-3 decades back, somebody called Dr. Thomas Verney, he does a lot of experiments on child psychology. He's a child psychiatrist. Even today, he has written a few books in which he has written that child also feels in the womb. Now, when the child feels in the womb, what is the responsibility of the parents? He went to the extent of saying that the womb is like a classroom for the child. It is continuously grabbing, grasping, and learning certain things inside the womb, because womb is a highly stimulating place. Whatever happens around the child will affect the child, and mother's emotion, especially during the pregnancy, mold the very nature of the child, which develops in different stages of life. Now, what we see, we will first think how difficult it is for a mother if she's undergoing these type of, what they have come up with a theory is that it is not Thomas Verney, but after Thomas Verney, several other psychologists started working and exploring and giving their theories and their research, where they said that if the mother is indifferent towards the womb or the growing fetus, in the developmental stages, you see that the nature of the child, he becomes very insensitive because he doesn't feel that connection with the mother or anybody around it. If the mother is overexcited, they say that the child may adopt some kind of acquire some kind of hyperactivity, impulsivity, and very high energy in the child. Now, if the mother is stressed because the whole blood flow is consumed by her thoughts and negativities, and she is not able to nurture the child with that positive energy, where the development becomes very poor, and the development of the child, overall development of the child, gets stunted. And if the mother is not bonding with the child, with her touch, with her smile, with her caressing, as if the child is already there in the world, and because it's a human child, she has to take care of the child like a present human being, which is coming, just it's in the womb and it's just coming to this world. The child, if that bonding is not given, the child craves for love throughout his or her life. And then it shows in adolescence, where there are breaking of relationships from one to another, in search of love. The child is searching something throughout. Now, unwanted pregnancy, sometimes in the name of planning, in the name of stabilizing in the for this economical status, for social status, for career and all, they just keep postponing. And sometimes it so happens that if they are pregnant, if the mothers are pregnant, then they feel that this child was not my plan, and it has just come as a hurdle, as a burden, or as something which is unwanted. And this thought, if the child catches, then the child will have suicidal tendencies. And that is what we are seeing in the process of career. Many mothers, sometimes they also try to terminate the terminate their pregnancy, and that hurts and pains. It feels, the fetus feels that I am not liked, I am not wanted in this world. And that feeling continues throughout. And that is why we are seeing the suicidal tendencies are growing more among the youth, where mothers are becoming more career oriented. Now, watching horrors and fears create the fears and anxieties in the child of darkness, because as a time pass, mothers may be watching late night movies and horror movies as a time pass, but how does that affect the child? She's unaware of. If she's unaware of, then it creates fears and anxiety to darkness, to an isolated place, to a lonely place, to some features, some characters, some animals. They get this type of fear when we feel complaining children about this, where parents come with such kind of complaints, so it becomes a nightmare for parents to take care of the child. Now, substance dependence, it is not only restricted to males these days, even females and mothers are into some kind of a substance dependence, where if during the pregnancy, if they take substance, it directly goes, because the child is in a cellular and molecular form, which is still in a liquid form. And most of these substances which create that kind of a toxic hormonal dependence, kind of a change that brings in and gets into mixed in the blood of mother. And even WHO is saying it is not small amount, it is not, but it is no, it is completely no to alcohol during pregnancy. So IQ levels of such children are seen to be, a lot of research is saying that this IQ level are very low of the children who are coming out of such kind of alcoholic dependent parent. It is applicable also to a father, not only to the mother, but also to the father. Now, becoming dependent, it's a tendency, it's a mental tendency itself altogether, where they become dependent on parents, on society, on somebody. So this is to be can be avoided. So parents not communicating, not talking with each other in the family unit, where only two of them are staying, they're not connected with the society, they are living in some isolated nucleus family or somewhere, and they don't connect, they don't talk, the child doesn't listen any words during the pregnancy, it causes delay in speech and expression of the child. Apart from that, abuse, anger, resentment causes guilt, frustration, and revengeful attitude develops that in the child. So next, most important is, if the parents have the attitude of a deception, toxic, very harsh kind of a behavior, erratic behavior during pregnancy, and they are unaware, they're not conscious about this, it develops into a deviant behavior in the child. From the time the child starts developing, going to school, they receive the complaints, repeated complaints of such kind of behavior. So these are the reasons why mothers are supposed to be very, very conscious about pregnancy. And all these things, initially they considered that you might have a question, why is it how come these feelings and thoughts will affect the child, but only genes will be predisposed in the child. But now the science says it is not only genetic predisposition, it amounts only to 20% of genetic components that are transferred to the child. But it is now understood, and it is now propagated, that epigenetic, which is called as the environment in which the children are grown, affects the fetus, and that is called epigenetic. Now you have to create that, one has to create that environment for the mothers, and emotions and moods of the mothers influence the fetus very much. Now environment definitely matters. If that environment is during the pregnancy, it equally affects the child immediately after the delivery of the child. It is even government is now recognizing it's at 1,000 days program, where mothers are given maternity leave because she has to feed, because she has to give that bonding and connection to the child. And postpartum blues, which is considered that negative experience, that painful experience of delivery process, mothers undergoing for a long time, maybe for 20 hours, 24 hours, or sometimes 36 hours, she has to experience that painful process. where she feels that no, it is enough, I just don't want to see the child, I just don't want to connect with the child. But the science, what gynecologists say, that immediately after the birth of the child is placed on the chest of the mother, and that is the first crawl that the child goes and tries to attempt and suck the milk of the mother, which doesn't happen afterwards. The child becomes starting and grows accordingly in the developmental stages. But the immediate crawl is because the smell, because the warmth that the mother has, and that the bonding that they have developed, the child starts crawling within a few moments of delivery. And then this is what says that this conscious interaction that is established by the mother and the child from the time of conception till a few years of delivering the child, that creates a connection which makes them understand each other well, and then the child starts learning. So this is a process, because we are all human beings and we are a combination of an energy and material. Material can be quantified by blood, bone, all heartbeat and all that can be quantified, but something which is subtle, which cannot be quantified, you call it mind, you call it consciousness, awareness or something. But both, like we say, that this child or this boy, this guy thinks like father, thinks like mother, thinks like grandfather. So why all these things? It is a combination of these two tendencies, both material and energy is transferred to the soul, to the child. Now this energy, people call it in different names, like soul, you call it atma, you call it any kind of energy that is there. Now this is coming in the womb, and the different levels of energy we find, some are intelligent, some are low in intelligence, some are moderate, some are very highly intelligent, some are very sober personalities, some are very exalted personalities. So all these, they say, philosophically, if we see, they say that these souls or these jivas are existing in this world. But what type of attitude the parents develop during the period of their intimate relationship, with that attitude, the child, that energy they are attracting, and once they attract that energy, the child is growing with that attitude only. But still the mother has that potential, that time to, because the child has to come through mother to this world. So it is having some kind of a relationship where he has to have that regard for the mother, because she has given that space to come to this world, because every soul is going through a journey to reach to the ultimate. And through these processes, like from animal tendencies to human tendencies to a divine tendencies, they come up and then achieve and reach to their goals. But mother and parenting is a process through which they achieve this. So different levels of energies are attracted, if they are conscious from the time of conception, what type of child they want. So it depends on whether lustful child is coming because they are unconscious, or is it a prayerful attitude with which you are bringing the child to this world matters, and that brings the change in the society, what type of mindset people have in the society. So the secret lies here. So conscious parents always attract this type of higher energy, and then they prepare themselves, and that is what is planning, and not planning for their waiting for a period where they stabilize in their monetary, social, or any other kind of stability, but with an attitude that if I want one child, what is not there in me, what I see in those exalted personalities, if I want those personalities, with the prayerful attitude, with the intervention, divine intervention, if you bring the child to this world, it will be a blessing. So emotions of the mothers affect the fetus. So what type of emotions are the last outcome of the break of the energy, which is already exhaustive, which has come out. You can't do anything for that. Anger is expressed, lust is expressed, your feelings are expressed. That is what is emotion. It comes into behaviors. But before that, one feels good, bad, like something, and then that feeling, if he's conscious about this feeling, then the expression, he can regulate his or her expression. And if even before feelings, you have good positive thoughts, you have good divine thinking, you have many things that are there in your mind, where there's no space of any kind of a jealousy, negativities, anger, cravings, all this. If you eliminate this, and you try to, the mother tries to cultivate this during this period, and is aware of how it affects the fetus, then she is making that effort to purify, to refine, to give that to the child, which is not there in her, but still she is trying to bring that. So how does that channelizes? How does she channelizes this energy of thought, feelings, and behaviors into a positive direction matters a lot for the child's thought process and character building. Now, you might see that these are some of the stories that are built in. How can we say that this is true, that affects? But for ages, we have been seeing that we had this kind of science, a scriptural science, which is there, where most of the exalted personalities, if we see, you call it gods or the avatars or the rishis, because we are belonging to a rishi clan or a rishi's descendants. So this is all experimented already. They led their life, and then they have displayed it, and they have scriptured it in the form of a science, where they say how the next generation comes. All this we can find in the engravings, in books, in scriptures, in the name of Garbhopanishad, Garbha Samskar, and different types of practices of Garbha Samskar. Then in Bhagavatam it is said, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has said many times that how the process this happens, how you are going to be placed in next birth, how your practices are going to continue in next birth. All this is there as documented, and these are the practices that we knowingly, unknowingly follow. But the modern science and modern lifestyle has disconnected all this treasure of ours, where we are not able to connect ourselves. The greatest example that was given that we can think about is Prahlada's example, where this genetic makeup of Prahlada from his parents is belonging to a demonic genetic predisposition. And because the turbulence and the turmoil that has created, people were vexed with his practices, and they were praying. And when they came to know that the wife of Prahlada, Kayadu, is going to bring a child to this world, they wanted this to be killed. So mother was given that kind of a disposition that she is to be killed. And with the divine intervention of Narada, who said that this is not right to kill a pregnant lady, let this lady come to my ashram and stay for some time. And when this lady comes, when there is no hope, where the whole genetic makeup of the lady is also of demonic nature, she's not listening, she's not happy with that kind of environment in which she's bred. She can't make that effort to lead that kind of a life, but she's placed in the ashram, where the ashram activities affect and attract the child, and the child is coming to this with completely sattva, raja, and tama, the three kinds of we can say hormonal chemicals that are produced in our body. And what type of environment that you give, that those type of hormones are produced in and then this child becomes completely a bhakta or a sattvic child, who's now considered to be the epitome of bhakti clan. Now, second is another example where from the womb, the Ashtavakra's father the child is finding fault with the narration or chanting of the mantras. The father is chanting, and then father finds fault with it, and he says that he curses the child while in the womb and says that you will be born with deformation. So 8 parts of his body and limb are deformed when he is born, but super intelligent. The Rishi brings himself to such an extent, he changes to such an extent that he comes out of those deformities and other ailments, and then he becomes the most Ashtavakra's Samhitas, Akravashta's Gita is most famous Gita when it comes to practicing formless God. Now, there's another example of Madalasa in this, where Madalasa was creating children with her own. She was a very highly exalted and pious lady, and she wanted all those who are coming to this world get liberation by coming to this world as human beings. And she tries and gives birth to 3 sons who are, at the moment they are born, they are just leaving this world and becoming saints, sages, and God realized. But king comes and asks and prays her, please give me one son who can rule this. Otherwise, who will be the descendant for my throne and our kingdom? And then she imbibes all those thoughts where she nurtures the child in the womb and bring that king to this world who has given that kind of the best kingdom, ruled norms to the kingdom. And there's another story of Abhimanyu, most of us know about, that he heard from the womb, and that was his destiny, that Krishna disconnected him from coming out of, how to come out of that Padma Vyuhu, which he could not listen. And then it so happened that he had to get stuck in that, because he still, with the courage that was given by his mother, parents, in form of storytelling. So in the history, Shankaracharya was brought by his mother with prayers. Chhatrapati Shivaji, who always, mother was suffering, women were tormented, women were molested, women were raped, they were converted, so many things happening. She urgently prays that there should be some king who can protect our culture, who can protect our clan, who can bring back our, revive back our culture and our treasure of the treasure of Sanatana. And then Shivaji was a person who brought in this, and nobody could dare to touch Maharashtra in those days. And then comes Swami Vivekananda, because of the westernized practices and the lifestyle that people have changed. And he came to bring this Vedantas, propagate this Vedanta to this world. And mother's role was prominent in this, with prayers that she brought in to Vivekananda to this world. So all this are there, such practices. Now, what are the techniques that the mothers are supposed to do? Now, throughout I have been telling. So first thing, if you are planning, if somebody is planning for a child, they should see that they are first detoxifying their mind and their body before conception by filling their thoughts with positive energy. Then creating a positive environment is a responsibility of all those who are around her and interested in the child. And otherwise also for the society, if the mother is carrying, then it becomes the responsibility of every citizen to see that the mother is in a happy and a joyous state and with a positive energy. Establish bonding with the child. Father, mother, other family members should talk to the child with touch, because child feels. If the child feels, then it feels secure, confident with the touch of the parents. Now, prioritizing pregnancy is most important during this period. Keeping aside all this, it's an investment, it's a real investment. If by any chance the child is brought unconsciously and comes with some kind of a different types of disorders or some kind of a stubborn nature or negativities, it will be a burden for parents to parent the child, and it's a huge investment later, which you can avoid. One can, as a precaution, prevention is better than cure. Practice these things and bring that kind of a soul to this world. So how does all this happen? How can we make it more easy? Yoga will give different types of muscle toning and energy that the mother needs, so that the child grows in a healthy fitness. Second, meditation will relax. Meditation will give lot of alpha waves, create lot of alpha waves, which she can sleep well, she can eat well, she can breathe well. Relaxation calms down the mind and the mood, which is most common complaint because of several reasons during in different stages of pregnancy. So this will calm down the mind of the mother, and also the mood swings that she's going, because there's one soul of mother already and there's another soul which is coming, so she has to balance these, and it becomes very difficult sometimes for mothers to relax, to come out of these mood and stabilize their mood. So spousal support, parental support, husband support, even after postpartum is required, after delivery is required, and it is a art of parenting. It is not consciously making effort to bring such kind of environment and change during this period, and taking it as owning it as a very, very important element of nurturing the parent. The understanding the child needs of each stage of development becomes very easy when the mother is bonding with the child. So that bonding will automatically make the child listen to what mother is saying. So they will not back answer, they will not deviate from their path. Facilitating the child to grow better is what the main concept of parenting, conscious parenting, and not imposing our habits, our dreams, our whatever we want to see in the child, that what we lost or what we have could not achieve is not parenting. Child is coming with some purpose. That purpose need to be served, and that facilitation is to be given by the parents on each stage as a support to it. Now, how storytelling also help to create that mental map, because when the child, when the parent, the grandparent, or somebody who is telling the story, by modulating the voice, by introducing him to a jungle environment, to the animals, to lion, to monkeys, to their characters, and then the colors, then values, good and bad, and creating that curiosity and concentration happens when the storytelling is, when the stories are told to the mothers during pregnancy, after pregnancy, or till such time the child is still growing and attains the adolescent age. So all these, with effortlessly, parents can inculcate values rather than making it as a very a rule that it becomes burden. It becomes that the child is not listening, the values need to be inculcated. These becomes effortlessly when the child is listening through the stories. So there are different types of parentings which parents need to be aware of. Insecure and avoidant parent, because she never wanted a child. If she doesn't want a child, it becomes difficult to get connected with the child. So child becomes irritable. Child cries. Child keeps avoiding or feeling that gap, becomes irritated. And this becomes a difficulty in nurturing the child. And sometimes parents think that children who are just 1 year, 2 years, 6 months babies, they should understand what the difficulties the mothers and parents are. So they talk in that tone as if it's so scary for children to take it, and they feel like as if, what is happening? Where am I landed? So that type of attitude the child develops. Apart from that, mothers, if they are not prepared, they have been living a life of very comfort and luxury. They are not well equipped with how to take care of the child. And for some reason, they are landed in a nucleus family in foreign countries, living alone, and a husband is occupied with work. Nobody is there to take care. They always need a nanny to help them, but they cannot afford. For all these reasons, if the mother is anxious, then that anxiety is transferred in the child. So the mother is supposed to know about all this, what type of parenting, only secured parenting, being with the child most of the time, giving that kind of a cozy, trustworthy, cozy, comfortable environment, and touch and talk, and that type of communication through expression, body language, and also with touch will give that security to the child, builds the trust and confidence in the child, that makes the parenting effortless and automatic, going to the and nurturance in different developmental stages. So there are a lot of research that is done on music, how it helps to, with the studies of PET and MRI scan, which reveal that the activity of both dorsal and ventral striatum of brain activities, releasing dopamine, which is very good for the development of the brain cells, neuronal cells in the brain of the child. And it helps to create that pleasurable stimulation to the child. Second, meditation helps in activating the alpha waves, which calms down the mind and makes the mother sleep and have that kind of a relaxation. Apart from that, deep relaxation creates that GABA. It's a kind of really chemical that is released, which plays an important role in developing the communication and understanding abilities. So parenting is not a science, but it is also an art, along with the science of human engineering. Advancing towards creating a better world is a responsibility of all the citizens in this world. Helping mothers, otherwise the whole universe becomes not a good, healthy place to live in. Helping mothers to nurture positive emotions is what is the motto or initiative that is taken by RA Janani, where they conduct workshops for pregnancy lifestyles for couples and parents who come and attend this. Apart from that, they also offer offer 2 days retreat in ashrams, living in ashrams, that will help them to practice throughout 2 to 3 days and understand how important it is, with different types of activities involved in this. I thank Vishwa platform to bringing and being so sensitive to this kind of a topic and taking initiative to bring this to the masses. And I thank you all who have participated and given your time to listen to this concept of parenting, conscious parenting, and what are the influences that affect the fetus from the time of conception till a few years of the child rearing. Thank you all. I'm ready for answering.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a wonderful session.
Thank
I'd like to invite founder of Vishwa, Ms. Shravani, to take the talk forward and conduct the Q&A session with you. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Namaste. I think we'll have to remove the slides.
Yes, ma'am. Vrushali, ma'am, could you please turn off the screen sharing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Namaste, everyone. A very warm welcome to you. I'm so happy to have Ms. VRUSHALI Reddy come up on such a vital topic, especially now with nuclear families, you know, lesser grandmothers and aunts, and to tell the child, the mother, the care that they need to take is very, is disappearing soon. I've seen a few reels which are saying, why do we need relatives when we are having babies? Why should relatives come home to visit? As mother needs help and all. So at such a time, you know, having you give such a wonderful presentation. Your slides were absolutely amazing. So succinct and nice.
Thank you.
Thank you to the audience. But before we move to question and answer, I would like to request the audience to take 30 seconds to answer a poll for us. The purpose of the poll is to help us understand you a little better. So we can better curate the topics that we bring to you. You can also let us know in the chat box how you found out about WishwaTalks. See, WishwaTalks is looking at bringing social awareness, protecting our heritage, our culture, and then enhancing it. So we are coming with varied topics. We really would be very happy if you all can participate and say, why don't you have this topic? Why don't you get this speaker? So we invite you to make those kind of suggestions. And if you are a WishwaTalks subscriber, heard about it through friends or family, or found out about the event on social media, please share it with us. We also want you to ensure you have pressed the subscribe buttons, because we see many participants who come very regularly, but they haven't pressed the subscribe button, because of which we are not able to send you all the invites. Yeah, and also share it with friends and family, because these kind of talks, no matter how much limited because of the constraints of the publicity that we can give in these times, especially because Vishwa is also a free webinar. We request each of you to share with your friends, with your families, with people in your life who you want them to grow. You want to see them grow, to evolve, to be beautiful, to make our world a beautiful place. Please do share with each of them. I would also like to express to our participants, gratitude to our participants. You all have been wonderful. The way the participation in the WishwaTalks in the past few months was amazing and very fulfilling for the entire WishwaTalk team. And I also want to thank the WishwaTalk team. They are coming out with some seamless talks, whether it is Trishant, Preeti, Akhilesh, Ranjit, Radhika. I mean, there's a whole lot of people behind who are making this seamless and beautiful. Thank you so much to the WishwaTalks team. Okay, now I want to tell you a little bit about Vishwa. Vishwa is an online platform for everyday change makers and social champions. It is a crowdfunding and a crowdsourcing platform that is aimed at helping anyone to find the support they need in their efforts to fulfill their dreams for themselves and for others, and in the process, make this world a little better. In addition to thought-provoking talks, such as the one hosted today, we're also having talks for the youth and for the juniors. We would like to take our talks to schools. So if any of you all are connected with schools, because the talks are online, please share with us, connect us to schools so that we can take some wonderful talks to children at an age when they can grasp and pick up some good habits. Lastly, we also have WishwaTalks materials. Imagine living in an economy where sharing is truly caring. And whatever you don't need, whether it is books, electronics, furniture, etc., could easily be listed, and you can share it with the community around you. And Vishwa materials, they've been collecting in Diwali and Ugadi, and they've been sharing with slums. There are around 150 slums in Hyderabad, and we were able to we gave 3-4 truckload fulls to 2 of the slums. I want it to be a complete movement in Hyderabad. We in Vishwa only do pickups at the time of Diwali and Ugadi. But if you want to drop off, you can drop off at our office and we will distribute it at the slums. We distribute it once a month. Yeah, then we have the fundraising and success stories. We had one principal coming from a school in a remote village. He had a student who had cerebral palsy. Srujana, her name was. She was walking 11 kilometers to school, and he put a fundraiser up, and he got complete funding from an anonymous fundraiser, a donor. Then we also want you all to share with your friends and family on certain fundraisers like going to Kanashraya Foundation, Bal Vikas Education Society and all. There is also one fundraiser for children with HIV/AIDS. There are around 2,300 kids in Hyderabad. They need a special diet, and the diet costs not more than 1,800 rupees a month. And for an entire month, a child is taken care of. If 100 of all of us, each of us can contribute that 1,800 on a regular basis, these kids can be taken care of. Then the upcoming talks, we have our community development speaker, Rahul Singla. The talk is, the speakers, sorry. There are 2 speakers, Rahul Singla and Rudrakshi Shetty. And the organization is Bachpan Save the Innocents. Topic is understanding the gender identity. It is on 12th August, 11 a.m. We also have a talk by by Ms. Radhika Iyer Talati, wonderful lady. She's done some very nice talks in Vishwa. She's done a talk on mudras, and I'm practicing till today, almost every day. So she's coming up with the topic Introduction to Kundalini on 19th August 2023, 11 a.m. Lastly, please take a moment to subscribe to WishwaTalks to get alerts on every new and exciting talk, exclusive events, and have access to the Vishwa community. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn for further updates. Do subscribe to WishwaTalks and share it with each of your friends. Ma'am, I have one question to ask you. You said that whatever the moods of the child, it shows on the child when they're born. When they're twins, how is it that the twins are totally different?
That is the reason where I said conscious parenting, mother not being conscious or the fetus in the womb not being conscious. There are several kind of theories which are interpreted or said where sometimes child is sleeping and mother is awake. Mother is sleeping and the child is awake. So among these two twins, one child may be sleeping and another is awake. So consciousness is a process of awakening. So once you're awake, it's not that it's like our mind is like a trap where everything that goes in that trap, but how you filter that, how you're conscious and what is attracting you at that point of time will become your nature. So it is not that everything that is happening around is affecting the child, but if the child is conscious at that time, that is the reason why mother has to avoid certain places, certain people, certain talks, which may affect. So it is better that she should go into a positive environment always. So that is how consciousness depends. It's not, we are not 100% conscious of everything, anytime, every time. So consciousness keeps changing. And when you are alert, aware, and conscious, only that gets sinking. So avoiding such kind of a thing. So twins, one may be like this. So again, science is there, identical, non-identical. So they adopt, they come with a genetic makeup as well. There are many things which contribute. One among them is this. So prevention is better always than cure.
I'm so proud to have you come on to the talk and share on such a critical topic, which the younger generation is fast not realizing the importance.
Yes, ma'am.
One question from Ms. Kalyani. How important is socializing kids? And in this process, they're exposed to various unwanted habits. Please guide.
This is the most difficult phase through the generation is passing. If you tap something, they will open some other window. If you tap that, they'll open some other window. So it is becoming very difficult for mothers to, keep an eye on the child. So the nature of the child should always be nurtured well. So it begins only at home. So if you give good and bad and right and wrong, and be connected with that loving communication to the child will never look into all those things which are hazardous for his development and growth. So mother, if she is well connected with the child, then she will automatically know where the child is going wrong. Mothers have to spend little time with the children. If they don't have time, then it's difficult for mothers to understand what he or she is undergoing through. So that can be avoided.
So I had experience. I have 3 grandchildren and they have a whole lot of cousins. And there are times that I have observed the same thing. So one day my grandson was sitting on a potty seat and then he lifted up the potty seat and threw the urine all over the room. I gave him one on his butt. He was very angry. He went to a corner and he was like, I'm going to kill you kind of a look. I said, you didn't follow Dharma. Rama follows Dharma. Now, if you have done a mistake and that's why you got a consequence for it. Immediately he came, he sat with me, he got his oil massage done and he started talking to me. So the concept of Dharma, when it was put to the child through the form of a story, whether what is right, what is wrong. And when they join the society around them, the children around them, and when they're sometimes imitating these bad habits, when you bring them back to the path of Dharma, you explain it to them. The boy is 4 years old. I'm talking of a boy who's 4 years old. So at that age, if they're able to understand, definitely they can understand at any age. There's one.
It is the style and a pattern of communication. I'm sorry, I just interrupted. So it's a type of pattern of communication that you develop with the child will matter. I'm sorry, ma'am. I disconnected.
No, please,
interrupted.
This is your talk.
I interrupted. Yeah, please go ahead.
The next question is from Mr. M.Phil. I can't see you. I would like you to unmute yourself. I'm having your question. What is the role of education and social well-being in development conscious parenting? Thanks, Shmel. Shmel, can you unmute yourself? Can he be unmuted, and can you put him on spot?
Yeah, I hear.
I have a question to you. I understand the...
Okay, I will ask in my voice, okay?
I have a question to you, sir.
Okay.
I have a question to you.
I want to ask you what role of well-being in development conscious parenting.
So I'll repeat his question, ma'am. He's asking, what is the role of again the same thing, the mother, the spouse, and the society around in a developing world?
The whole concept,
the role of education and social well-being in a development conscious parenting, in developing conscious parenting.
Yeah, this my question. Yeah, of course.
So very well put. This question is so important, and that is the reason why we were getting so many complaints about children being stubborn, erratic, not listening, can't study, IQ levels low, and all these. And then we had to go back to such a exploration that where the actual secret lies. So education now, I'm sure today's topic must have enlightened a few things which parents or the audience may or may not have heard about it. Now, if this is the fact, if this is what is required, then this is a type of education that needs to be propagated, that needs to be given to the parents who are bringing children to this world. So education definitely helps. This type of education helps further. And then it will once that bonding is created in this developing world where there are a lot of distractions and negativities around, to filter them and make the soul himself or herself very stable. So mother's role with the bonding happens that, and that is what we are trying to bring back what it used to be. Among these distractions, one has to how maintain that stability, that concentration, that consistency will happen when the mothers start developing. And the demonstration of mothers' behaviors, mother's style, mother's lifestyle, or the father's, not mother includes father here, being very, very conscious about what child is given in the environment. So their acts itself brings the behavior to the child. So this is how the modern world's influences are increasing, and that is why we have to go back to our culture, our scriptures, which has given different types of practices to stabilize, so that what is to be received only will be received by the child. So education through this type of education will help them overall development.
Yeah. Wonderful. Mr. Shumel, I had a question for you. Since you come from Israel, I understand mothers out there take a lot of care about the pregnant mothers, and the family around takes a lot of care about them, ensuring that they are educated in maths, in music and all. Is that true?
Yeah. Very thank you on your elaborated answer. Very thank you.
How are pregnant mothers in Israel taken care of?
Yeah. In Israel, yeah.
Okay.
I would like to add to your question, ma'am, because we also have this, we also include, because it was a nutshell that I couldn't put everything in this, but Jews are the community which form only 9% of the world's population. But the laureates that are coming from Jews were Nobel laureates are coming from around 60 to 70% of laureates are Jews, and they are on the top of the different fields. The reason behind is they practice all this kind of practices which are given in their scriptures or formats or whatever religious practices that do. It becomes compulsory for them. When the mother is carrying, she has to practice all these things, and when compared to other population, we will find that the level of intelligence and awareness is more in Jews. So this is one such community, and we have those practices and scriptures intact, but it is not now practiced. It is just remained in the books, but there it is a practice. So with this, we can see how evolved those souls are, those human beings.
All right. Thank you so much. Next question. Pedini Ravi Kumar has asked a question: how to identify and encourage children's interests?
When you spend time with the children, you will know their nature, you will know what they want, because they are your own extension of soul. So you can identify if you spend time with children and just communicate well. And then once you understand if they are exceeding whatever their demands are, you can modulate that also, and explain. After explaining, after talking, after bringing some examples to them, they will understand it better.
Lavish Katanji, there's a question. Please unmute yourself. Yeah, please ask your question.
Hello, yeah, good morning, ma'am.
Yeah. Good morning.
Ma'am, actually, I want to know that how to deal with your teenager boy.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Ma'am, I'm asking to you how to deal with teenager.
How
Can
to
you just text? If she can text.
Can you text us? Your voice is not clear. Can you please text?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Yeah. By then, we'll take the next question from Ms. Radha Rani. Parenting can feel overwhelming at times. How do you deal with this, Srivani and Usha Reddy, ma'am?
Okay. True, it is overwhelming, and in that process, you over pamper children sometimes. So balancing your mind and regulating your emotions is most important. For that, you need to practice. I mean, I'm not directly saying you, but the parents need to practice some yoga, some meditation, something, so that they balance first and they regulate their emotions and not become overwhelmed, or they're not attentive. Or not delivering what is it. So regulation of balancing of mind is required for parenting. So they also need to practice certain kinds of spiritual practices, where IQ, EQ, and SQ, spiritual quotient, is also in place and balance, so that your overwhelming attitude comes down and you understand, and you will have a clarity of understanding how to parent, what is required for the child to give and what not.
So I wanted to add something. So I'm a mother of 3 and I have 3 grandsons, and I can see one of my daughter has 3 grandsons. So there are times when it's overwhelming for her. There are times when she leaves them with me. When she goes on a holiday, it's overwhelming for me. So what I practice is every mother should take time off for themselves, an hour or 2. When I get up in the morning, I tell my husband, I need this 1 hour for myself. I need to be quiet. When I'm sleeping, I say, I need this 1 hour for me. I need to be quiet. And I do mudras. Thanks to Ms. Radha, I have been doing mudras for around half an hour, each mudra for 3 minutes. And no matter how much of anxiety I have, within half an hour, I'm finding my anxiety calm down. I put some meditative music and I do this. Another thing I can say about parenting is we're soon becoming nuclear families in our country. But I can tell you, That's one of the biggest disaster that we are moving towards. Luckily for me, my daughter lives in an apartment where her in-laws live one floor down, and she's got a whole lot of family living in the same apartments. So there is always somebody coming to visit. And for example, the children go to my son's house for lunch. That's the time when she's free. Another cousin or an uncle takes them out for an hour in the evening. So it takes a village to groom a child.
Yes.
And it will be beautiful if as mothers, we are smart enough to create a network of parents or individuals around you whom you can trust, who can share. There might be times when one sister doesn't want to take care of the children. She'll ask the other cousin, sister, will you take care of the children today? I need a break. So it's important the mother takes a break when she's overwhelmed. It's important she leaves the child in the hands of another person whom she trusts at those times. And it's necessary for us to build those relationships.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. Very true. And in the process, parents neglect themselves and fall prey to the demands of the child, and child becomes very demanding.
Ma'am, I'd like to bring your attention to the question by Lavish Khattar. She was asking how to deal with teenager.
1 second, Trishant. Can you hear me, Trishant?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I haven't completed this.
Sure.
So another thing is, sorry, I lost my thought process. When I get back to this question again, I wanted to add something. I'll add that.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, when I get back, I'll add.
Okay, fine.
So next question is from Anju. Can you emphasize more on Ashtavakra Vigita in parenting?
No, that was not. It is not about parenting. It is about being conscious about the process of pregnancy. And it conveyed the message that pregnancy is a very, very conscious process where the child is very receptive. And that is the example given of Ashtavakra's life, where the child could communicate with the father. It was highly evolved soul. And those examples are of a very great, highly evolved entities which are coming to this world for some purpose. But pregnancy is a part of it, where they have to come through pregnancy only. And these are stories, maybe to what extent it is true, to what extent it is highlighted in a different manner, where our understandings might not have been evolved to that level. So I can't interpret that, but it is said that the soul is so alert in the womb that it can hear, it can listen, and whatever the curses that are given by the outside world, whether it is parent or father, it affected the child in its development. So that negativity is the main theme that need to be taken. You should not use such language when somebody is pregnant around you. So that is what is the main concept.
I just got back my flow of thought. So another thing that's happening now, a lot of parents are going in for one child, saying that my property is enough for one child. I'm not able to manage my child. And what I've noticed, when I had my first child, the child wanted me, if I go anywhere, the child wanted me to carry him always. So if I leave Tanuku and come to Hyderabad, the whole morning from 6:30 to 10 o'clock, I had to carry him, and my shoulders and hands were paining. But the minute I had my second child, they didn't need me. They were with themselves, with each other. So the amount of time the parent is overwhelmed comes down when the child has company. This is something I want to share.
Wonderful. It's a natural process. It's a natural process, but you are stunting and you are becoming overwhelmed actually. So you don't want and you disrupt. but actually it is helping you. And children grow together and they will have a wonderful life and relationship.
Yeah.
True.
Question from Raja V, please.
Madam, very good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Session was very good, madam. And coming to my question is, actually, we are living in a joint family. Is it audible, madam?
Yes, yes.
We are living in a joint family with my brother and as well as my parents and my uncles also. My kids, baby boy and baby girl, there is a 4 years baby girl, and baby boy is 8 years and 6 years. So there are every time what they want. Suppose what they are doing means every time something they want means they are crying and they are they are just crying like anything. By me or my father or whatever it is, they are getting what they want. But that is fine, madam. That is small things we can provide it up to our end. But coming to the concentration, my baby boy, he's not at concentrated his studies. He's unable to concentrate for the studies even 5 minutes also. But he's a capable person. He's just saying the Bhagavad Gita. If I'm saying my spouse saying the Bhagavad Gita and everything, he's listening and he's unconsciously he's saying whatever it is, even 12 slokas, 13 slokas, 50 slokas, he immediately saying. But coming to the studies, he's unable to concentrate and he's unable to perform his performance in education. So in the school, he's getting bit of problem for unable to perform his education. That is the issue I am facing, madam. What I need to do for getting the increasing of his concentration, and how I need to control what for things they are wanting. Unnecessarily they are wanting. They know that is not useful, but they're trying to get, and just after getting the things, they are immediately spoil it.
Yeah, I understand. These are a few things you can't say it's a disadvantage of joint family, but yes, you have to regulate these things because it is obvious that they are attached to grandparents. They don't want children to cry and all. But you have to make an agreement with the family members saying that if this is done, then the child is getting over pampering and the child becomes demanding over a period of time. So that arrangement should be such that anything that they want should come through parent. Or through parent, it is like through father, through mother, but not anybody else. So they have to come in an agreement with each other saying that anything demand, you ask, you get permission from your father or mother, then we'll give. So this type of communication should be there between first grandparent and the parents. And then they have to make this kind of an agreement to bring the child with proper kind of a nurturance. Now you have 2-3 questions asked in one this. So there's another question which you asked is, he doesn't concentrate, but he likes, automatically he can narrate or chant the Bhagavad Gita. So that might have been adopted from mother, because mother might be chanting it throughout her, maybe pregnancy period or maybe even before that. So it comes very easily for him to chant it. You just try to figure out, it must be something like that. But concentrating on subjects, obviously, children don't like studies. So you are a father, so you should understand the importance of studies. So you have to modify his behavior of not studying on improving concentration by reinforcing certain things which he likes, which he doesn't like. And then you have to modify the behavior. It's a whole kind of an art where what he likes should be always given with what he performs. Only when he will be getting it. And withdrawing what he likes, and then saying that if you do this, then we'll allow you to watch TV for some 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. So like that, you have to modify his behavior and improve his concentration and make it a point that child is also practicing something for 10 to 15 minutes morning and evening as a religious practice where he starts concentrating, or introduce such games for the child where the concentration improves. whether it is even if it is like playing goatees, what you call the small marble with children used to play, they concentrate well. So these children, they also like to go learn all these things through play or through toys and games. So increase that kind of toy and and activities where they can automatically concentrate on certain things like that, and then the power of concentration will increase, and they just have to divert that concentration into something with more, with reinforcement.
I have a few, Mr. Raja. Your children are of what age?
Baby boy is 8 years and baby girl is 6 years.
So one thing is, all of us have become affluent in Indian families, and our only way of showing love is going and shopping and buying toys, whether it is grandparents, whether it is parents. And we see a lot of homes with too many toys. So what I was recommended is, don't put all the toys at once, because the child, I went to the airport, my grandson said they wanted that. I bought them, each of them one. And in 2 minutes, they just left it. So the next time they went to the airport, I said, I'm not buying you. But the point is, you need to put educative toys of different varieties, some books, some toys, some physical things, but not more than 4 items. And you need to rotate it. You can't put everything accessible to him. That is one methodology. Another thing is, as ma'am said, fantastic idea, give them concentration games, even carom board, snooker, all these are concentration games. First, develop them for 1 minute concentration, then 2 minutes, then 5 minutes, then 15 minutes, then half an hour. So when I used to teach my children, or when I used to study, I would say, okay, this 15 minutes I'm studying, and then when I get distracted, I'll be distracted for 5 minutes. Or I'll watch a reel, or I'll watch a movie, or I'll listen to a song and then come the next 5 minutes, I'm going to concentrate. So developing the child's concentration. There is also the Vipassana program for children, if I'm not wrong, where you can take them where they can do concentration. They'll be taught, they can develop their concentration. Then you said that kids were crying. So bringing up children is a very dynamic activity. I used to have 3 kids. So each kid was very different from the other. And each kid's needs were very different from the other. So if one of the kid is crying, I would leave them to cry. And then after he quiets, I would ask, you want something? You ask for it. Don't think whining and crying will get you anywhere. So once you let them cry, even if it's on the road, on the down, and just you be calm without reacting, not embarrassed what the other person will take. Once you do that, and next time he will never cry again. No reaction, nothing, just observe, let them cry. But do not encourage, and as ma'am said, the entire family should be aligned. At the minute they cry, we'll give them a phone to watch the TV. The minute they cry, we will give them a chocolate to eat. That habit, the entire family should be one. If there is no unity in the mother and father, if there's no unity in the grandmother and the daughter-in-law, if there's no unity in the grandparents and the parents, we cannot have children, because children by nature play up. So we need to...
They're very smart.
Yeah, I hope I covered all the 3 points, yes, that you asked. Okay, thank you. There is one more question from Mr. M.Phil again. How you develop effective and conscious parenting among parents from poor families? I also want to add, we work with 150 slums and we wanted to bring in workshops. So what do you think we can teach these parents where, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, they're going off to work, or they live in a 1-room place? What is your advice?
Yes, to both the participant who asked this question and also to ma'am. This idea is being developed in our workshops. This parenting, conscious parenting, we have brought up in RA Janani workshops, which is an organization specially working for parenting and conscious parenting, especially during pregnancy. Now we are reaching out to slums, to mostly the rural background people, where they don't get time, they don't understand, they don't have that ability to even understand these things. So what we are doing is we have a tie-up with the government. Now we are bringing this to the lowest communities through health centers, primary health care centers, and we are conducting workshops specially for them, especially just a few practices, because now we are multi-religious, customary kind of a belief system that we have evolved in, and we are now in, where it is difficult. So what we have structured is what will help them to first calm down their mind during pregnancy and have that joyous journey. So what is required for them in this multidisciplinary kind of a atmosphere that we have structured, and we are giving it to them. So government is also very much supportive for this, and we are conducting workshops and bringing awareness among the authorities, among the masses, that this period is very important. And now government has given a lot of facilities even to give leave during pregnancy, for care during pregnancy, or different types of incentives during pregnancy. All this keeping in view that the next coming generation should not become a burden where they have to again spend for disabilities. So all this is being given, and we are reaching out on a large scale. You can just log on and see what services that we are giving through RHNN. So we are reaching out. We are also conscious about how to bring this to what we are saying. The couples who are attending our workshops are educated. They're from good families. They understand. They're practicing. They are happy with whatever we are giving to them. But our concern is to reach out to each mother who is in that process, and that should help her. And she should bring a healthy child to this world. So we are giving it. And it is not difficult. We are educating the whole family through ASHA workers, going and reaching out to grassroots levels in the families, and bringing this awareness, and involving parents as a father and family members also into this, to understand this, how important it is. We are doing it.
Okay, next question from Ms. Mona Jain. How should working mothers manage pregnancy?
That is the whole thing. Take out the time. This is the investment. 9 months period. You have to compromise with anything that is there on your card. But giving priority to the mothers. One of my slides included this, keeping in consideration how important it is for mothers. What is your priority? You want to give that stress to the child, or you want to invest in the child right now and have a stress-free life throughout your, where you can go to work without any kind of a hassle. That my child is cannot understand, that child needs some support, that child needs time, that child needs somebody's help. He cannot or she cannot be on her own or his own. So right investment, compromise with whatever you have, prioritize pregnancy and conception, and have that time of just a 9 months or 10 months period, which is 1 year period. If you're planning, it is enough for you to invest in the child throughout the life. So it's a very ideal investment. Think about this. So working mothers, they are moving, they are going out, they are into a public field, they are not conscious about, can't spend time, have a lot of, considering this only we have brought this concept.
So I was a working mother, I wanted to add. And so I used to go for work. Luckily, I had the option. I used to go for work from around 8 to 12. So that was one thing I did, where my elder children were going off to school. Though I was pregnant, I could work between these timings. My daughter has 3 kids. So until what I have done is, when she had her children, until she went to the delivery room, she was working. She was actually on her computer working until she went into the operation room, the delivery room. But after that, she stopped working. But what I've noticed is, as a mother, they go through a lot of different moods, different depressions. So I gave her some work that she could work, which is not a 9 to 5 job, but at the same time, which occupies her mind, challenges her, where there is growth. This is one aspect I had done. And now that her child is around, the youngest one is around 2.5 years, again, she started going to work. So it'll be great if the family around can support a woman to work, even whether they were pregnant, not pregnant, and give them that space, as ma'am said, invest that year in your pregnancy, in your children. And there are enough ways today, in whichever social status you are in. There are jobs where you don't have to do 9 to 5. There are subjects you can learn. You could be pregnant and you can study. And actually groom in that period. So there are various options. You can work for 2 hours. You can do an online job and still be at home. Or you can take 3 days a week jobs. It's your choice and they are available. Yeah.
So career, just one thing to add, career and parenting, or having an exceptional child or smart kid can't go together. You want, and you also have the cake. So the thing is, there's one thing which you should remember is how you perceive your work makes the difference. If your mind considers it as a burden, as a stress, then it is stressful. Like ma'am said, her daughter went till her delivery room with work while working. If she's enjoying the work, there's nothing like that. But it should not be considered as a burden. If you consider it as a burden and say that nobody's giving leave, nobody's understanding, nobody's doing, if you do anything with your own voluntary choice and feel happy and responsible for what you're doing and still maintain that joyful state of mind, there's nothing like that. You can work till you're going to the delivery room. It's only your perception towards how you take the stress.
Absolutely. Lovely. Then one question from Ms. Sita Anand. Any inputs for parents opting to adopt children? There are many children who are abandoned, and adopting them is a great service. But any special inputs for parents who come forward to adopt them?
Oh, actually, this is not related here, but still, because I have a legal background, I am able to answer. I think Srivani madam also can give some inputs on this. Now, it has become mandatory for the parents. Now, whoever want to adopt a child, it has to go through the government agency. So whoever is interested to adopt a child, they have to apply to the through the government agencies, and all those children who are often left or whatever, they are taken care by government, putting them in different orphanages, which are well equipped, well maintained. They have their own parameters to care for these children, and they are being educated, nurtured, given all what is required. And only through government you have to apply to get the process of adoption with legal orders through judiciary.
Next question from Ms. Rasool, Mr. How to deal with postpartum of my wife? Mr. Rasool, from his question is how to deal with postpartum of my wife and sisters as a family member.
Oh, that's a very, very important area where the child and the mother are suddenly coming in a different zone after the child is born, where the child has to cope up with the environment around it, with weather, with suckling, with food, everything which becomes external, where the mother was feeding from her umbilical cord. Now here, mother also, after delivering, she is also not in that state of mood where it is said that some types of vairagya, prasuti vairagya, some death related vairagya, where once a person is, but after some time, again mother is ready for begetting a child after some time. So what happens is, This postpartum period where the warmth of the mother is required to be connected with the child, with her body, where even breastfeeding is a part of it. If by any reason or chance the mother is not in a state of mind to take the child close, it is the father who's always there. So whenever we conduct these workshops, we call both couple, father and mother, to understand what is happening, what is she undergoing through, because of different types of phases of pregnancy, where the moods are in swings, where different types of problems that she's facing internally and externally. So they have to support, keep everything aside, facilitate, give that support to it, whatever comes, what may come. So whole family need to be educated and understanding that this is the important phase in the life, where the whole next generation which is coming to their family, to their life, is important. And be there, compromising, leaving everything aside, be there, supportive to the mother. So this is how postpartum things and blues, if you get the knowledge, then you will understand. That is what I explained in one small slide, how it affects postpartum blues, which is affected 70% of mothers because of that painful experience. Then it is postpartum depression, where mood swings are there because of this painful experience. Sometimes she gets thoughts of killing herself or harming herself or harming the child. And in case of psychosis, which is very rare, amongst 1 among 1,000 or 2,000, where she literally attempts, like a cat attempts to kill its kid immediately after the birth. So that type of thought also comes to human beings sometimes. But to be aware of and then take help from the authorities where she's delivering, from family members, from counselors, and even hospitals and staff of hospitals are well equipped with all these things today. So you have to be alert and educated about all these, so that you can alert. We cannot explain how the situation will be. You have to take that immediate step that, oh, this is what is happening, rather than blaming or finding fault or just being overwhelmed of what to do at that point of time. If you know that it is happening, these are the symptoms, then you will be automatically you will be equipped to deal with it in that situation. So nobody need to teach. It will come, but you should know.
I can share how I dealt with it. I have a daughter who had 3 kids, and when she had the 3rd kid and she was going through depressions, what we did was I would take care of the baths of the babies, the elder ones in the morning, all the 3 kids in the morning. My husband would take care of the feeding of the children. So like that, if different family members can take care of critical aspects, my son was taking care of the lunch of the children. So if each of us are sharing the responsibilities of until the mother recoups. And how I helped her recoup was exercise. So I was taking her to Pilates thrice a week along with me. She would act. I had to call 10 times. Have you started? Have you started? Have you started? But now she's going on her own. So I went with an exercise really lifts up all these depressions and gets them back into shape. This was my experience.
Yeah, but sometimes, immediately after delivery, she may not be in a position to do it. So music and listening to some kind of a divine, some kind of soothing music and chantings and all that, what she likes, art or anything, that she can, just have it listening to something or practicing something will help her. And meditate God's name definitely will help.
Also, I would tell her friends to go spend an evening with her or half a day with her once a week. And I would tell her, once a week, you go with your husband alone without the children for a dinner. So giving her me space, giving her space with her friends alone, or giving her space with her husband alone, or giving her space with her alone also helps. That communicating and sharing also can help.
Yeah, true.
But Ms. Sita Anand continues her question. Actually, I didn't ask about the procedure for adoption, but about any inputs from scriptures on or how to deal with children who from conception have been through trauma, who have been adopted.
Krishna's life. Krishna's life, Devaki gave birth and Yashoda brought him. And that was a very traumatic experience. She gave birth in jail and nothing more than that. And she could overcome. And the child was a playful child. What else is required? There are many examples. There are many examples if you peep into scriptures.
So how do you help them with trauma when they go through trauma?
Love, affection, and bonding. And being with nature, in nature. So Krishna, if you take the same example, he just played with every person that he came across. So that type of nurturance, that type of access, that type of education, that type of freedom, that type of independence is given to the child from the time of birth. If you want to play in the mud, let him play, don't restrict. If he enjoys that playing in water, let him vent out. There are many things in which children also play, learn. And if you restrict and restrain, then the tension starts. So this is how you can. If you're overwhelmed with how should I bring up this child who's been adopted, as if an alien which is coming to you, you have no identity as to what the child, who the parents are. Now you become a parent. With what intention have you adopted the child? You should eliminate that kind of a constriction and a restriction that I am taking care of something. You become a mother first. That motherhood is there in every human, every woman. So we need not be taught how to take care and how to, come out of this kind of a stress and a tension or rearing of the child. Become a mother first. Identify yourself. Recognize that motherhood is in you, and love will help you to that automatically will create that environment.
I wanted to share that I don't know. I think it might also apply to adopted kids, though my kids are not adopted. I have seen a lot of change in society happening. The rules of the game for parents and children are very, very different when we were brought up. And the rules of the parents and children now in this generation are very different. So one thing is unconditional love. At the same time, standing firm on what is right from wrong. So on the one hand, you say, I'm not willing to accept to your adopted child that these are the things which are not right. Yes, I love you. I'm with you. I'm ready to hug you. I'm ready to sleep with you. I'm ready to sit with you along with you while you're crying all the time. But I will not accept it if you are beating up someone, if you're using foul language with someone, if you think you don't need to eat and throw tantrums. So maintaining that balance, having the strength as a mother is not easy, not at all easy. So if you could, even for an adopted child, practice the same thing.
Yes.
I have a lot of people telling me, your child doesn't want to get married, let him be. Days have changed. Your child wants to marry after 4 years, let him be. They've grown up, you should choose. Your children don't want to give baths to their children early morning, let it be, it's their children. So there is a whole different sudden change in society where you suddenly treat young parents as adults and they can do what they want. And people find it very odd that I stand there and I'm there for the child. I'm there for my daughter. When I say you have to exercise, you have to exercise. Now I'm not forcing her. I'm only saying I'm coming along with you. Will this exercise work? She says no. Will that exercise work? She says no. Will that exercise work? Okay, then I'm coming with you. Amma, I'll take 10 more minutes. I'll take 5 more minutes. I'll just stand. I'm not saying force, but stand with unconditional love for what is right. So yeah, now...
it is an innate nature of a woman. What idea brought you to adopt a child is the motherhood. So it will automatically come to you. You need not ask for elsewhere what to do, how to do. It will.
Mr. M.Phil has a question. What are the prenatal influences of mental health?
Yeah, I want to ask via mic. I open it mic. I want to ask you what prenatal influences of mental health mental problems among future parents?
Stress and career, money orientation, materialistic. These create stress. These create stress.
And another mental problems.
I hope.
So what he's asking is, I'll again read the question. What are the prenatal influences of mental health of future parents? When you said future parents, do you mean of late children are removing the sperms and putting it in banks and then becoming parents, Mr. Shmel? Is that your question? Is that your question when you say future parents, or are you saying?
Yeah, this content of my question. Yeah.
When the sperms and the eggs are frozen and then used later on, are you saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but in all these also again the sperm which is developed and again is put in the womb of a mother. So what applies to any natural pregnancy also applies to this kind of a artificial insemination as well. So there is no difference. Now in future, the trauma, the stresses are created because of the lifestyle. So they have to be aware of whether to, if you are more materialistic, obviously it will affect you. That creates tensions and stress. If you want to live in your own, be contented in what you have and give priorities to what you really want to have in life, then there is no stress. So it applies to any mother, any family, any person.
A question from Mr. Rawouf. Why children are introverts and extroverts in the same family and the same environment?
There's a different type of gene which comes in the parents, and it could be like something carried from father more, or something carried by mother more. It is just like a piano where you have all white and black kind of keys, and all those negative, positive, all types of attitudes and behaviors or mindset is there in the gene. Whatever you get in the environment during that period, it is just like clicking on a white or a black key, and that gets activated. So once that get activated, then the cellular formation happens and those genes will become dominant. So that is how it works. Why? There is no answer for it. So this is the answer for it. Why? Because it has been nurtured, it has been activated by the environment, and that becomes the dominant nature of the child. At one point of the child, one child may be picking up something. In next time, another child may be picking up something. So it is not that all children should be same. Whether there's no joy in this world, if everybody is same. Variety matters.
Okay, next question. Trishant, you had a question you were asking previously.
No, I was bringing up a question of a previous participant, Lavish Khattar. She was asking how to deal with teenage kids. Like, what would be the methods to deal with teenage kids?
Teenage is an age where there is identity conflict happening, identity formation happening. And it is a well, set and understood concept that when the child grows and is and putting his feet in the shoes of the father, then you should treat him like not like a kid, but like a friend. So that is the only way in which you deal with the adolescent, with love, with affection, with understanding, with intelligent answers, what they want to have, by openly discussing what are hidden facts, what they feel like, not imposing a lot of rules and regulations or opposing them. That will create a lot of commotion and they become erratic and opponent. So it is always better that you try to talk and resolve and nurture and the adolescent like a friend.
Ma'am, you had a question on types of emotions in attachment. I mean, you explained about types of emotions in attachment. You said there's secure, there's insecure, resistant. insecure avoidant and insecure disorganized. Can you just re-explain this again, please?
Secured parenting is something that we are talking about, which will happen and established when there is a bonding between the mother and the child. Insecure and avoidant is it is a nature, and it is the mindset of some different behaviors, different characteristics, and the mindset that we all have, which differ from one to another. So there are different types that have been identified in mothers: the way they communicate, the way they talk to the child, the way they feel about the relationship. So that is what is different types, where insecure, they always feel like anxious, who is not well equipped with, she herself is not very well equipped with handling things in life. So she has to calm down, she has to take help, she has to understand herself, and then become stable. So these are different types. Then avoidant, it affects the child. So you have to see that, at least for the sake of child, at least for the nurturance of the child, you have to understand that you need to change, and then see what is more adaptive, what is more better for the child to be given. And some mothers, they are so dominating, they're so, use language, aggressive language, and demanding and commanding. It is like you can't complain later, because the child will unfold later in its developmental stages and give back to mothers or to fathers if they are behaving or giving that to the child because they are under guard and control of the parents. Once they get the wings, then they will also adopt the same type of communication, which becomes it is difficult to handle. So they should be aware of, there are types that I said. So you should be aware of how a secured parenting should happen, should be given to the child. And by changing yourself, by refining your own lifestyle, your way of communication, your way of attitudes, that will affect the nurturance, because it is your responsibility to bring up the child in a very right direction. So if there is something in you which is affecting the relationship, you should first clear it up. You should first come out of that. So that cleansing and that kind of purification, weeding out all those negativities is, or the way of communication. It's not that they don't love their child. Love is always there, but the expression of love, it matters. How the child receives it.
So when you say insecure resistant, what does that mean?
When the bonding or the love and affection is not expressed to the child and left out, the distance is maintained, or there is a lot of aggression in communication, this child feels insecure. And that which is growing, the child is a very small kid, and it is growing in that environment. It receives, it inculcates, it gets these fears registered in its mind, and the brain cells, which are the neuronal development that is to happen in a very cozy, comfortable environment, which allows it to experience freedom and also confidence and trust. That trust is lost, where the child cannot connect with the world the way it has to, and prosper and nourish, and take that kind of a confident and a bold decisions in life, because the parenting is given with such kind of a stressful parenting. So mothers have to be a little conscious about what type of parenting will help to make the child a better citizen, a better person with a better character. And with it, it's not only erratic behavior, but it's also, succumbing to oneself, weeping, blaming, and always complaining. All this also needs a lot of trust from mothers. If that environment is given, then they learn. So mothers have to be very cautious and need to change themselves.
And insecure avoidant? See, what I understood about secure is when the child is very secure, his outlook is different. When the mother is not expressive, that is insecure resistant, the impact it has. What is insecure avoidant?
See, that is what the situation made the mother in the picture, if you can see, because of some reasons, if she's so, I have seen many parents where they always throughout their life, they say, no, I never wanted this child. So I never wanted this child, is somewhere there registered in her brain where she feels like she doesn't get connected with the child. So this needs to be addressed first. Now, if you want child, you don't want a child. Now it is an accident. It is there. Now, what is your responsibility? So if you avoid and maintain that distance with the child, that insecurity is developed, and that insecure, avoidant nature of the mother affects the development of the child. So she has to resolve these within herself to come out, keep considering and giving more priority to the parenting and bringing up this child. So it becomes a responsibility of the mother to come out of that kind of avoidance, whatever the reason may be.
Wonderful session, ma'am. And you have patiently explained. It's a very, very, very critical topic you have spoken. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
For being so generous.
Thank you. Thank you, Shivani ma'am, and thank you whole team which was working for past 1 week, 10 days continuously. Trishant and
Preeti.
Preeti. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
giving this opportunity, and I hope that it will help many to enlighten and take this series seriously. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani ma'am, for giving us beautiful insights from your side as well. I'd like to request all the participants to join us for our next session next week at the same time, 11 a.m. Lastly, I'd like to request everyone, do not forget to subscribe to us on our website. Please go to YouTube if you missed any part of the session. The whole uncut session of the webinar is there on YouTube on WishwaTalks page. Lastly, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for future updates and events. Thank you, and subscribe to WishwaTalks. Ma'am, I'd like to request you to join the breakout room link, which will appear on your screen right now.
I thank all the audience as well. Thank you very much.